Hey all, this is Manhattanite for SNGmentors.com. We think we're the best staking training website out there. We have probably about 1,000 to 1,200 videos now online. Um, and this is just a sample of one of them. This is a hand history that I saw a friend of mine play, one of our students play actually. And just going to comment because he's playing against, there's an idiot at the table. Um, by the way, we also offer subscriptions, which is another great way to learn. $25 a month, less than a few buy-ins for most of you, and you will improve your game drastically very quickly. Um, and those videos are the videos you see are much longer than this one. So we have this hand here, and we have this guy shoving here, and we have this guy over here who's going to be our idiot, as we will say, overcalling. And they shove on a guy who's already raised pre. So, we assume we're not thrilled about having jacks here, but obviously we're going to get it in a rebuy in the first hand. We do tell our players, and we do think that the proper strategy for a 180 rebuy is to be relatively tight, but a little bit looser than, say, a normal 1,500 chip starting stack in a 180. So some combination of the two. But a little bit, but we still don't want to be giving our chips away. You can't play these like 3 rebuy where there's 20,000 chips for first. So we overshove, try to get the dead money out. Although at this point we might even want the dead money in because his that 1,500 chips and our 1,500 chips would break us even on the hand. So actually, in some ways, we hope that he does call in case we lose this main pot. But the strategy is not to throw away money in these. You can't make money if you have $30 in buy-ins. The prize pools aren't big enough. You can't win enough of them. You'd have to win 1 in 20 of them outright to make up, to actually still show a loss, because if you had $30 in buy-ins, that would be 600 total. And the first prize are usually only 5 to 550. So there's no way you could make money with that many buy-ins. So we throw in our chips here, and this player overcalls somehow with the ace-jack suited, which is really a horrible call. But one of the first things we notice is that this guy made a legitimate shove with ace-queen, 1,500 chips, tightish shove, and this guy overcalled with ace-8 suited. So right away we have to peg him as a not good player, a gambler. Now we're down to 1 out. We have to worry about principally. They all miss the flop, although he picks up a gut shot. They all miss the turn, although both of them pick up gut shots. And we win a really nice pot, which is really great in the first hand. You should, if you have 9,000 chips after the first hand in a rebuy, in a 180 rebuy, you should be really destined for good things. Of course, things can go wrong. So now we see him raising 260 chips, this guy shoving, and he is overcalling with the king 5, queen 5, against the kings and the 8s. We note that this guy also overcalled with 8s again. Don't need to watch. Oh, he won actually. He actually won that. He won it with 2 5s. So it's sort of entertaining on its own level. Here he gets it back in, checks it down, and he has the ace 4. He doesn't raise that hand. He's limping again. He calls or raises there, check, check, fold, so he didn't have any piece of that one. And again here, and these are the guys that you really want to focus on. We don't have to watch the rest of the play, the table, because we're really focusing on him. When you play poker, you can target a single player. That's a good thing if you can. If you can learn to target a single player. So obviously he's shipping here, because why not ship into 2 guys? You never know. You want those chips. So he had 7s. Very well played hand. Lucky that the guy had ace 7, ace king, and he got it in there. And the guy disappears. And leaving these rebuys is just leaving dead money, and you are not bankrolled for them if that is what you're doing. So he shoves there, and he has the queen 8 for the gut shot versus the guy with the ace king, who makes a good call, probably paying attention. Ace 10 here. This guy hasn't been too active, so I think we should fold here. I think folding here is good. And we don't know what he had, but he led, and he shoves, and he folds. He's back at it again and calling off with the Jack 6 against a guy I don't think that we've seen play a bad hand yet, and does not get there. He got there with the Jack though, so now he's just open shoving his chips in, and we are raising, and he shoves, and obviously we just should be ISO shoving. Now my player did say this was a misclick, that he meant to shove and misclicked it. But anyway, he shoves for us, and he has the legitimate hand again, and gets picked off. Now that hand is not his fault. So I don't know if that tilts him at all, but here he calls 162 and checks around, and he calls on the river with the 3 deuce. Why this guy isn't betting with this guy in the hand is beyond me. Pocket 5s here, he doesn't play. We lost a small pot there. He raises here 4x, and coming up here and here he gets it in with I think it was all in pre anyway. Ace king, ace 10, 10s and jacks. This is a plan that I think our player played relatively poorly. Guy raises to 500. I think at this stage we should just ship it in on him. Our player elects to raise it, which I think is just a really bad thing to do. He was calling a ship with any 2 cards. We have a huge advantage. We are not worried about these guys so much. We still have a monster hand, and we are isolating against him. So we should just ship it in here. I think this was a mistake on his part. To compound the mistake, the flop comes king, king, jack, I believe. There you go. And the guy shoves in, and our player folds, which is, we've seen him play every junky hand there is. If he had a big hand, monster hand, he would have shoved it pre. This is just a really bad fold against him. He's doing this with, ace deuce. And so our player does fold. We have 10 outs that have to be good. And we might not even need the 10 outs. Whoops, sorry about that. We don't. So that hand, I really thought our player played poorly. Now, the good thing is that when you're up against an idiot like this, you can play hands poorly because that money is coming back to you. And that's also another reason to make that call, is that, let's say we're wrong. Let's say you had king jack exactly. So we're drawing dead. Although we might have had a gut shot to a royal. We're calling dead. We're still going to get that money back eventually from a player like him. So whether it's before or after the rebuy. So here he, and I thought our player played this hand relatively poorly too, to be honest. But this is why we do the videos for them, so that they can improve and can learn. He only raises to 400. I would have raised it here to 800, because this player is just not folding his hand, but this one might. And we want the dead money. We want to be heads up as much as possible against him, especially with these sorts of hands, with the ace queen and the jacks. And obviously he calls and the guy overcalls. And we bet, which is a good bet, about half pot. And we got to fold, and this guy shoves. So obviously we're probably not good here. I mean, at best we're hoping that we're up against a flush draw if we call. So we have no backdoor equity except 2 jacks. So we fold there, and maybe even 1 jack if the jack of clubs comes. So we fold there. But I don't think we raise big enough against this player. I mean, a normal raise is 400 there. But against this player, we have to raise 800 or 900 because he's calling anyway. And here he raises 3x and calls and gets it in here with the king 9, which is basically 2 overs. Again, against a relatively tight player. And he double rebuys here. We raise to 300, which is fine. He re-raises it. He 3-bets. We have to just shove it in here. And we do, which is finally good. And look at his range. And this is why those ace-queen hands and the jacks hand was so bad. He misses his flush draw on the river, and we now got the chips back from him, so to speak. Here he shoves ace-7 into jacks. That's fine. We would expect that play from him. Except Johnny Kilo is not raising light. So let's see what the other hands of interest. We had ace-7 here. He raises now 4x. I think this is a pretty easy shove. again, because we know we get these chips back eventually anyway. We know we have the skill advantage. Of course, he could dump them to someone else. He's raising 4x again here. Ace 8 here, he raises the same 4x. This is a little bit different because we have now players left to act who have the same idiot read on him that we have. So they're going to be lighter, but I still think we should at least flat here. And then that leaves us some breathing room to fold if these guys shove. Maybe instead of flatting, we should raise it to 1600. So if these guys overshove, we can still fold and not feel so bad about it. So maybe a raise there isn't so bad. So we happen to have run into the kings here, but you see what his range was. So we know that we're good. We did not have the ace of hearts. I did check earlier. Now he's still raising 3x. Now he doesn't double rebuy anymore. I don't know if he's running out of money or liquor or whatever he's running out of. He's running out of something. And he gets it in here with 10-5. And does he poof and go away? No. Oh, maybe he won that? No, this is now post rebuy. So anyway, this is Manhattanite for SNGmentors.com, showing you, how you want to play against an idiot and why you want to play against an idiot. You're getting those chips back anyway. You're just going to win, and so yeah, we're happy that we leave the rebuy with 14,000 chips. That's a huge advantage. And you look around the table, he has 20,000, he has 11,000, he has 8,000. That's all courtesy of this player. That's all courtesy of him. That's what we want to have happen. So don't shy away from playing against him, especially with hands like Ace Queen and the Jacks, and really over-raise against him. So give us a call or email, subscribe to our site. $25 a month, a really good deal for this value of type of videos. And like I said, this is just a snippet of one complete video of this whole entire hand history, which the player did end up going on to win. I will talk to you all later.